All right, good morning, my friends. I'm going to try something different today. When I move around, I get less nervous. All right, so today is the baptism of the Lord. And today we transition from Christmas to ordinary time. We go from the birth of Jesus to his adulthood. And it's important because we are going from how he came to why he came. Do you get that? Not how he came, but now we focus on why he came. And that, my friends, is why we're here. That's what defines our mission in life. So we know baptism. Baptism is God's most precious and magnificent gift. Baptism is an event that most of us don't remember, right? I was 18 days old. I don't remember it. And it's not important that you don't remember the event, but what is important is you remember what the event means. It is in baptism that we receive God's grace. We become members of the church, the family of God. We're purified from original sin. We're reborn in the Holy Spirit. And just as Jesus heard today, we also hear the voice of God because we too become beloved sons and daughters of God. Wonderful, right? It's all great. It's all good. But there's a fundamental question that emerges from this. And it's a very simple question that we need to ask ourselves. What now? What now? Now, what do we do now? We've got all this grace. We've got this wonderful gift. What do we do? What are we supposed to do? And that is the responsibility of being a missionary. We are all missionaries for God. That is our purpose. Whether it's through our words, our actions, our prayers, our sacrifices, we are called to spread the good news, right? Isn't that what Jesus told us to do? We're called to be his witnesses to the ends of the world. We're called to make disciples of all people. We're called to love one another. Even if you don't like them, you're called to love them. You're called to lay down your life for others. St. John Eudes wrote, "The Christian life is a continuation and completion of the life of Christ in us." We should be like so many little Christs here on earth, continuing his life and his works, laboring and sacrificing in the Spirit of Jesus. That is the answer to what now. We are called to be like Christ in this world. Okay, what now? We know, sadly enough, it doesn't happen, right? I'm not talking about any of you. Whether it's through loss of faith or just plain old busyness, we forget why we're here, don't we? And I thank God that all of you are here now, but just think about how many people aren't here. How many people do you know practice little or no faith? How many youth? How many young adults? Don't you wonder, how did we get here? And how do we fix it? So some of you know, I teach the baptism classes here at St. Vincent de Paul, and it's a pleasure coming in my class, right? No, you endured my class. So we watch a video, and at the end of the video, the guy says a really important thing. Who's here who's been to my class? Anybody? No, oh, that's right. Do you remember what he said at the end of the video? Okay, good. You weren't listening either. He said, after the celebration is over, now the real work begins. Remember now? Okay. You sure you went to my class and not Deacon Dan's? All right. So, the real work. When people are baptized, how are they going to learn the faith? I mean, when your baby is baptized, when your children are baptized, how are they going to know who Jesus is? iPad? TikTok? Instagram? I mean, what do you think? Osmosis? Visions? How do you think your children are going to learn about God? So I was looking at this. Some people say, I bring my kid to Mass every week. I'm not trying to lay a guilt trip on any of y'all, but you'll get it in a minute. There are 168 hours in every week. Okay? You come here 1 hour a week. There's 167 other hours where you're sleeping, you're driving, you're working, or, as most people do, playing on your phone, right? You spend more hours in the shower than you do sitting here every week, assuming you take showers. Okay, so who is going to be the guide? Who is going to be the teacher? Who is going to be the leader for your children? Who is it? Is it the clergy? Father Joseph? God forbid me, right? Monsignor? No, it's not the priests and the deacons. Yeah, we're here to help. But if you think it's our job, wake up. It's not. You know whose job it is? You. Everybody here. It's your job. Everybody here is a minister for God. If you're baptized, you're a minister for God. It's said that in God's army, there are no volunteers. We're all drafted into service. So, my dear parents, when your children were baptized, do you remember the commitment that you made at the very first of the baptism? By the way, it ripples throughout the baptism. After I ask you what your child's name is and why you're here, which most people can't say why they're here, I have to tell them baptism. It says, in asking for baptism for your child, you are undertaking the responsibility of raising them in the faith so that keeping God's commandments, they may love the Lord and their neighbor as Christ has taught us. Do you understand that responsibility? Yeah. We do, right? That's what you're supposed to answer. We do. So as it's right in the beginning of the rite, when you bring your children for baptism, as they grow, their faith, well, how is it going to grow? How are they going to learn anything? It all begins with the decisions you make. Not just for, I'm sure you feed them, right? You buy them clothes, you put them in school, you give them a bed, I presume, right? Somewhere to sleep. You may give them a nice dog or two or four. You take care of their worldly needs. Are you taking care of their spiritual needs? Okay? And I'm not just picking on people right now with kids. There's a lot of people in here with adult kids too, right? Am I right? So, it said that children are walking video cameras. Walking video cameras. They record everything you say and everything you do. So, if you think about that, you should make it your constant care to train them to live the faith, to practice the commandments, to be good to people, right? To love people. And you do it by showing it. You do it yourself. You can't just tell them to do it. You have to do it. If you just tell them to do it, they're not going to listen. I know. So, my friends, what now? I just told you what now. This is your mission, especially parents. And again, not just parents of little kids, I'm talking older kids too. There's plenty of people here whose kids are grown who don't do anything. Am I right? I'm not picking on you, but we know it's true. And it's the responsibility of everybody here, whether you're a parent, a godparent, a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a grandmother, whatever it may be. We're all called to be a minister for God. So, as you think about that, I'll tell you my story, okay? So I have 4 siblings, 4. We're 1 year apart, approximately, okay? My poor mom. 5 of us, boom, 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 boom. We went to Mass every week. My mom was a Catholic from the south side of Chicago. Her two sisters were nuns. We went to Mass, right? We had to go. We didn't get to go. We had to go, okay? So growing up, I got 1 hour of Mass every week. Poor Father Slavicek, God rest his soul. And we had to sit on the front row, by the way, like my mom thought that would make us behave. It didn't work. I don't see any kids on the front row. So 1 hour a week. And then we went to what was called CCD for us. We basically went through high school. So growing up, I got maybe 1 to 2 hours a week of faith. 1 to 2 hours a week. That was it. That's all I got. That's all my brothers and sisters got. So when we all went to college, and we all graduated, and we all have families, and we all started careers, how many of the 5 seriously practiced any faith? Seriously practiced any faith, had any relationship with Jesus? How many do you think of the 5? 0. 0, me included. 0. It wasn't important. Going to Mass every week for 1 hour just didn't get it. And so when we had the chance, when we weren't under Mama's thumb, we didn't go. Sorry, Betty Ann and Mary Jo, I know you're watching. 2 of my sisters are watching. They know it's true. But why am I here? You may ask yourself that too. Why are you here? I wish you weren't here. But why am I here? How did I get back here? Because of a little pretty Southern Baptist girl. That's how I got back here. And I got married at Second Baptist, by the way. First time, okay? Don't get me wrong, I am validly ordained. I met a girl who knew that Bible. I met a girl who had a personal relationship with Jesus, a girl who had a faith life, a girl who knew what it meant to be a missionary for God. Thank God I did. And when she went through her spiritual journey and converted to being Catholic, I went along. Again, thank God I did. She pulled me along most of the time. But it was only because of Allison that I'm here. That's it. One girl. It took a Southern Baptist girl to bring me here. I'm lucky I found Allison and someone who had a mission, who knew the answer to what now. She knew her mission. I'm blessed to have her, and you may be thinking, well, good for you, Deacon Burt, but I ain't got no one like Allison, right? But guess what? This church is full of Allisons. Every one of you is. Everybody here is. You all have that ability. You all have that gift. You just got to use it. So, Napoleon, I'm finishing up here. Napoleon once pointed at a map of China and said, "There lies a sleeping giant. If it ever wakes up, it will be unstoppable." That was a long time ago. My friends, we are all sleeping giants. This church is full of sleeping giants. We have the responsibility to use the gift we were given in baptism. We have that responsibility. So, as we go into 2022, with 21 in the rearview mirror, praise the Lord, let's start using our baptismal gifts. God has great expectations for everybody here, but what lies within you is dormant. You gotta wake it up. You can make a difference. Just think of the difference one of you could make in your family, with your spouse, with your kids. You could be unstoppable, right? So ask yourself, what now? What now? I challenge you. He challenges you to get your gift of baptism out. If you stored it away with your baptismal candle, if it's in the closet with your white garment, get it out. Now is the time that your children need you, your spouses need you, your families need you, this world needs you. Now is the time to take the answer of being a missionary for God. Now is when we need to wake up and allow the real work to begin.